Some residents of Alabama, a state that overwhelmingly voted for President Donald Trump, the most recent election, got a little gift in return for their vote, a $100 increase in their electric bill. Hmm. So, wow. On February 4th, Huntsville Utilities in Alabama sent some of its customers a letter alerting them that a grant that they had previously received was no longer valid. The grant was distributed by the Community Action Partnership of Huntsville/Madison and Limestone counties. In a photo of such a letter posted to Facebook, the utility company told its customer that the grant that they had received for $100 on January 23rd, 2025 is no longer valid. Why? President Trump's executive order to rescind the funding behind the grant. So this is a part of that funding freeze. Okay. The company then alerted the customer that the $100 was debited to their account and was due on their next invoice. Hey, here you go. What a surprise. You owe us an extra $100. Wow. Not good. So now this is a part of the part of $1 million from the Infrastructure Investment in Jobs Act. Okay, this is the bipartisan infrastructure deal that went to help people who are low income, okay, and need help with their utility bills. So now, this was not more than the $50 million in federal funding that Alabama received for something called the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, right? That was unaffected by Donald Trump's executive order because the funds actually came from the Department of Health and Human Services. However, that $1 million is part of LHEAP's or LEHEAP's heating bill assistance to those in need. Okay, so now that act basically granted an additional $100 to households receiving LEHEAP assistance. Yet Trump's executive order, the Unleashing American Energy Act or whatever, had paused the supplemental funding from the bipartisan infrastructure bill, meaning that the families who received the grant back in January now have to pay for it with their next electric bill. So, yeah, a Facebook post from an account that shared an image of one of the Huntsville utility letters said Huntsville, Alabama had a federally funded grant program that helped low-income people pay their utility bills. Trump ended that program by executive order, and now people are sent bills to repay the grants that they received in January and will be getting no such support moving forward. When billionaires say that they are cutting government waste, this is what they mean. Yes. The Unleashing American Energy executive order reads all agencies shall immediately pause the disbursement of funds appropriated through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The executive order goes on to say that those agencies shall review their processes, policies, and programs for issuing grants, loans, contracts, or any other financial disbursements of such appropriated funds for consistency with the order's law and policy. So understand that helping low-income people pay their energy bills when they can't afford it is, to them, considered to be waste. Okay? Now, look, Huntsville is in Madison County. Madison County voted 54% for Donald Trump. Certainly not as dramatic as some of the other counties. Winston, for example, voted 91% for Trump. Claiborne, 91%. Marion, 90%. Blount, 90%. Coleman, 89%. Geneva, 88%. Lamar, 87%. Cherokee, 87%. Franklin, 86%. And Covington, 85.9%. But still, over the half the county voted for Trump, voted for this. Now, that sucks for everyone else. All right? I mean, yes, in this case, it's just over 250 people that are affected by this, okay? That are now getting a surprise bill and no more help for their energy bills. That is a significant amount of money to people who are low income, okay? Over half of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency. Now, they can't afford a extra $100 on their utility bill. And this is just one of the results of Donald Trump's executive orders. Because he spent the first few days just pumping these executive orders out, okay, signing the hell out of them. And so this is a result. And by the way, it's specifically the illegal funding freezes, right? Um, that haven't just hurt poor people. They're hurting farmers. They're hurting scientists, researchers, okay, and people who have cancer, okay, union workers, and government employees. I mean, just on Friday, they began firing the probationary employees. Oh, well, probationary, right? That must mean they were doing something wrong. No, it's just they were new hires. Okay, that's really all that means. Oh, you're new, so we're gonna have to watch you for a month, okay, and see if you're doing a good job, and then hire you on full time, right? Get you out of that probationary period, okay. Pretty much all private sector jobs have that, and so it's not surprised that public sector jobs have that as well. But now anybody who's a probationary employee is getting fired. So look, regardless of who you voted for, if you're in one of those groups, guess what? You're screwed. Okay, that's it. People like Donald Trump have screwed you. Look, you got programs like the IRA, like the bipartisan infrastructure law, that have been the source for tens of billions of dollars in grant money to businesses, state and local governments, and nonprofits. A lot of this stuff, again, goes to help businesses and poor people. Okay, those contracts, they're just not like a magical pool of money. They actually do things, right? And some of the things they do is spur investment. Companies have taken that money and have bought land. They have hired people, created jobs. They have contracted other companies or other people for services. Now, thanks to Trump, they're finding out that these contracts, for money that they've already spent, they will not be reimbursed for this. Okay? Donald Trump is not going to honor those contracts, which should not be a surprise to anyone who's ever paid attention to Donald Trump. He has a history of hiring people to do things and then not paying them. Anybody who's been paying attention to Donald Trump's history knows this. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people who don't watch YouTube shows, that don't watch people like me who are actually trying to give you factual information, okay, about Donald Trump. They get it from Fox News, or they get it from an influencer who doesn't really mention any of this stuff, doesn't mention the downsides of Donald Trump. And certainly there's a lot of them, okay, a lot of downsides, things that he has actually done. And he has stiffed so many people. He has a history of refusing to pay people money that he owes. And it goes all the way back, way, way before politics. He was stiffing contractors. Okay? So that's what he's doing. He's broken so many contracts and screwed so many people over. This shouldn't be a surprise. Okay? Shouldn't be a surprise at all. And you know what? Even though he has been ordered several times now by the courts to restore this funding, he has refused to do it. What's going to happen if this goes to Supreme Court and the Supreme Court says, okay, you're going to have to pay this money, and he says no? Then what? Then what? And while that constitutional crisis is playing out, you have people that have depended on this money, companies that are doing layoffs, furloughs, and then you have other companies that don't receive the money that just, end up closing up shop. And so killing small business. What's going to happen then? Massive unemployment, massive unrest. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Look, here's the thing. The damage is already done. And I think that was the whole point. Donald Trump has come in to wreck government. And it's exactly what he's doing. So, I mean, you get what you pay for, I guess. Get what you vote for. And sadly, though, I don't think a lot of those people who said, yeah, go ahead, come in and take a wrecking ball to the government, didn't realize how essential government is to their lives and well-being. And until enough of his own voters feel the effects of that, because I know we all, everyone else certainly is, but until his own voters feel that, they're going to continue to cheer for the obvious and wanton destruction of our country. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.